Thermal Sound Wave. Yes, indeed. It is Thermal Sound Waves, the natural alternative to fast food radio. We hear C.Truth, Kev Lawrence. Yes, indeed. Right about now on the program, coming through as a special guest with us, we have a woman who's been doing her thing for quite some time now, coming out of the borough of Brooklyn in New York City.
Where at?
The borough of Brooklyn, Bucktown and all that. Home of the original Gun Clappers and home of TONISTEELZ. How you doing, Toni?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
Oh, we
great.
TONISTEELZ on the program.
Great. Yes, indeed. Now, is there any relation to General Steele from Smif and Wesson?
That is so interesting. There is no relation. And, you know, I'll probably get shunned by the hip hop community, but I didn't know for a long time his name was actually TONISTEELZ. I did not know that for a very long time. And when I found out, I was like, oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, that's how it be sometimes.
Yeah. Have you guys ever done a show or, ever crossed paths?
We have. I was actually, how I found out and how we met, I was actually doing a show some time ago in the city, and he was there. And when we finished performing, he came up to me. He said, "What's your name?" And I'm looking at him like, "TONISTEELZ, what you mean?" You know, and he was like, "You got my name?" I was like, "I don't have your name." He said, "I'm TONISTEELZ." And I was like, "Oh, snap." And he was like, "You didn't know that?" I was like, "I did not know that."
We're talking about General Steele of Smif and Wesson.
Smif and Wesson, yeah. So we crossed paths, of course, a lot of times since then, you know. Of course, we have the same name, so, you know, it was hard for him to forget me. So, you know, we see each other a lot, and it's pretty cool. A lot of people do confuse it, but, you know, mine's got the Z, he has the E, so it's pretty different. I'm an I, he's a Y. So, yeah.
all that.
But we both represent Brooklyn, like you said, home of the original Gun Clappers. You already know. We represent old Brooklyn, of course.
Yeah. And I'm glad Brooklyn. She said that, because people from Brooklyn understand exactly what you mean when you say
what you mean, though? What you mean, old Brooklyn?
I know exactly what you mean.
That's right, old Brooklyn. Shouts to old Brooklyn. It's not the same no more, but it's still Brooklyn. I mean, you know, I can appreciate the transition, the growth.
Yeah,
you know? I can
exactly,
appreciate that.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
But it was a certain time.
The growth.
Yeah, it was a certain time and day in BK once upon a time where it's like, you know, there's some things that you had to go through in order for growth.
That's right. We wasn't sitting outside eating, you know, having brunch on the corner. We wasn't doing that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of brunching going on in Brooklyn. I'm like, where?
Yeah.
I'm not going over there. Like, no, it's Poodles over here.
Yeah.
A lot of jogging.
Yeah. It's a lot of things. It's diverse.
Tables on the sidewalk.
Like bubble tea.
All of that.
Yeah, exactly. It's come up, you know what I'm saying? Home of the Brooklyn.
They say it's gentrified. I say it's zentified. You know,
it's something else.
Now, so for those who are unaware of you, Toni, let people know a little bit about the come up of TONISTEELZ.
The come up of TONISTEELZ. TONISTEELZ still coming up. You know, TONISTEELZ still out here grinding. But the come up, I've been doing my thing for some time, of course. For those that know, for those that don't know, you can, you know, do a Google if you want. But I'm a hip hop artist. I started out as a, you know, child prodigy dancer. I've done a couple of you know, videos as a kid, and I transitioned into music because my brothers and them, they had a studio in our crib and they would record. So, you know, I used to sneak into the studio and record my own music, and actually fell in love with, you know, making music. It actually helped with, I wasn't a very vocal person, but, you know, making music actually helped me be able to regulate my feelings in a way that I didn't necessarily know how to, you know, get that aggression out. So hip hop was that for me. But I don't know. I would say I'm still coming up. I feel like I'm still proving myself. I'm still, you know, out here just trying to connect with the people I should be connecting with and doing the things that I want to be doing. Currently, besides doing music, I act as well. So currently I've been casted in a couple of different films and commercials and stuff. So I'm still grinding. I'm still coming up.
You can't just go past
let us know. Let us know what the films and commercials are. Let
and
people
also,
know.
what were the music videos you were in?
I did a video with Heavy D. You can't see what I can see.
Wow.
With Flavor Flav.
Classic.
Yeah, yeah. I did oh my goodness. The first video I did with Video Music Box, I was probably like 14 years old. And it was a group named, I don't remember the group, but they was from Jersey. And that was the first time me meeting Ralph and Beast and Handsome, rest in peace.
Rest in peace, Handsome.
Beast and Handsome was actually my my babysitter because I was the youngest on set. And what's the other video that I did? It's a few. I've done a few.
Gotcha. What's the commercials in the movies that you got popping?
I just currently finished filming with Rob Stapleton for his new film that's coming called Ski Trip. And
Rob Stapleton.
Nice.
Yeah, Rob Stapleton, Toni Rock, Donnell Rawlings, Marshall Brandon.
No sugar cake, son.
Few big names in that film. It's pretty cool. I also just did a commercial with Sirius Radio.
That's dope.
And a Nike commercial as well. So yeah, I'm grinding, y'all. I'm grinding.
Okay,
I'm working. Right.
That's some major players right there. That's some nice corporate money.
Let me hold some.
Yeah. It feels good.
I saw those new shoes you had on the other day. Yeah. Let me hold some.
Got that SAG card.
Let me hold some.
No
I'm
question.
outside, quiet as kept. I'm outside. I just like to work. I really don't like to make any announcements.
I seen you
on that AZ quiet money. I see you out there.
Right. I seen you. So one thing that I noticed with you, other than the music, now we know about the acting, the dancing you were doing. I noticed something called Garifuna.
Yes.
And, I had some peoples I know that was from either Honduras, some may have been from Belize or Panama, and I've heard that term Garifuna, and
yes.
I wouldn't know if somebody could explain this to me. What is Garifuna?
So Garifuna it's a language, and it's our culture, pretty much. It's our people. It's our native language.
Of where?
We are originally from St. Vincent. So what's happening now is like our people are becoming a little bit more educated as to who we are. For a very long time, we were claiming Honduras as our homeland. But Honduras is not actually our homeland. That's where we landed during the Spanish War when the British were trying to, run us out. This is where everybody went, to Latin America, Honduras, Guatemala, Nicaragua. That's where a lot of the Garifuna people landed. So that's how we learned the Spanish language. Our original language is Garifuna. That's our native language, and Punta is our native dance. So we are a mix of, our language is a mix of, the African dialect, of course, patois. And the language was made up because they didn't want anybody to understand what they were talking about. And to be honest with you, it's a lot of us who still don't really know the language. Like our parents used that language as a language to talk about stuff they didn't want us to know about either. So it's almost like a what is that dialect? That Pig Latin almost.
Pig Latin.
But it became a language. Like now, currently in this century, we're actually learning how to spell it because there was no spelling behind it. It was just something that they talked, but there was no books or anything behind it. They're actually putting letters to it now to spell it out for it to actually be a legit language. Garifuna.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not originally from Honduras or Nicaragua.
Right. We are not actually, Latin. We're not Honduran. We're not of that. We are Garifuna people who were brought to, these different countries like Honduras, Nicaragua, and Guatemala and Belize.
So how did you find out that it actually goes back to St. Vincent, and how significant is the island of St. Vincent?
So what is interesting, this is something that, I can only speak for myself and my brothers and sisters. My mom always taught us the culture and who we were. So we always had an idea of, that we were of St. Vincent. What I understand now is that there's still a community of Garifuna people in St. Vincent, but it's really, really small. Because again, during the Spanish War, from what I understand, there were, we fought, and it was a total of 5,000 of our soldiers and, fighters who fought, but half of us died. So the half that stayed alive, were transported to these different places like Honduras, Guatemala, Nicaragua, and Belize, and just a few were still left in Nicaragua. So I'm not sure if that answered your question.
Well, listen, we're learning. I didn't know a lot of this stuff here, and I'm like, I would hear of it, or I would see some things. I'm like, wait a minute, that's that different kind of people. Is that like the Maroons or the Seminoles of Florida? Is that what we would call them?
I wouldn't say
like
that.
how the Jamaicans had the Maroons, and
yeah.
Florida had the Seminoles.
Yeah. You can definitely compare it to that. Absolutely.
And other than St. Vincent, did they even go further back, or were they always in St. Vincent, or were like?
From what I understand, it's St. Vincent and Jamaica.
So it's all really pretty much just bus stops with your peoples.
Yeah. We're like all over the diaspora.
That's why when people say all related, or at least I try to tell people that they don't really understand where I'm coming from when I say that, because they don't check the history. But I've done a lot of looking and researching into history and things that is like people move around. Like people don't understand that. People think that, if you're from this island or this region or whatever, then you're just from there. It's like, no. Just like now we could pick up, jump on a plane and go travel somewhere. People did that back then too. Like they was moving all over the world.
So C-Truth, I remember before C-Truth, you mentioned, how did the people used to travel back then?
They used to sail.
Trade winds.
They used to sail on a boat.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Sometimes without even a paddle.
Right, because they knew the current. Yeah, and people in those times respected nature and they understood how things moved and the way things moved, and that's how they were able to get around, because they knew if the wind was blowing this way, we need to go this way, or if the sun is coming, they knew all that type of science. Like they were in tune with all that.
That's such a lost thing nowadays, right? We need our phones or our compasses. We need something to direct us to where we're going. But back then it was a feeling. They just knew what to do and where to go and how to move. It's really interesting.
Yeah. Sometimes I still do that. Sometimes I won't put on navigation. I'm like, I'm going to find it.
Those particular, that DNA is in your brain though. Like if you think about it, like you're talking about phones, right? Before we have phones, how did we get around? We knew that, okay, at this particular turn, like you go here in order to get here, and this thing is here, and like that stuff is in your brain. Like your brain was the phone, so your brain had that.
I used to back then. It was for me. It was like, okay, I know if I got to get to Brooklyn, I got to go to the left.
Right.
Just go to the left.
Yeah, it was like that. It was like that. Your brain had all that in its memory to say, okay, boom, that this is the point right here, and I go this way.
Right.
Now, are there any somewhat, how can we say, any programs that you know of or such where people could actually learn more about the people that you
Yes, there are tons of programs.
And where can people go to?
New York City. But those who live in New York City knows that Bronx right now is the capital of the Garifuna people. So there are plenty of programs in the Bronx. There are plenty of leaders in the Bronx who teach the culture. There is
That's actually true. They're in the North Bronx.
Say that again?
They're in the North Bronx. They've been there for a long time. I think their flag is yellow and black.
Yeah, gold, yellow, and black.
Gold, yellow, and black. Yes, excuse me. Yeah, I've seen them in neighborhoods for a long time in the North Bronx. I just never knew what it was.
There is a blog, beinggarifuna.com, where if there's anything that you want to learn, you can go there. It's run by Teofilo Colon Jr., and he does any information that you need about the Garifuna people.
Shout
it will be on beinggarifuna.com.
I think I met him through you before, a long time ago.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you have.
Yeah.
Yeah, Teofilo used to work with Hype Williams and Little X.
The directors, Hype Williams, yes.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And Little X came from Hype Williams, and Hype Williams came from Ralph McDaniels.
Yeah, he did a lot of work with them. So now he's currently covering, all of Garifuna. Everything Garifuna.
That's beautiful. It's Thermal Soundwaves. We hear C.Truth, Kev Lawrence talking to educator, educating us on some stuff here. Miss Toni Steele with us on the program.
And broadcaster, too.
Yeah, so what are some of the other things that you're into outside of, you dance, you act, you rap? What are some of the other things you're into?
I'm into everything entertainment. I podcast as well. I have a podcast called Rap-Sis as well as Girl. Rap-Sis pretty much caters to, entertainment, hip-hop entertainment, women in hip-hop entertainment. And my sister and I, we sit down and we talk about everything that's happening in the world of hip-hop with the ladies. And Girl Podcast pretty much talks to different women in different walks of life. And we sit down and have a conversation about, what women go through, how women persevere in this life, and, just all things girl.
So as a woman and as someone, doing shows such as that, what are some of the biggest things that's on your radar right now?
The biggest things on my radar right now is pretty much working with, young women. That's one of the biggest things. I do a lot of work in my community with a lot of young women, and just, I wouldn't say steering them in the right path, because you just never really know what the right path is for somebody. But just pretty much, just keeping them level-headed and, helping them understand that whatever they want to do, they can do, and just pretty much being there as a mentor. I didn't necessarily have that growing up, so I love being that for, somebody else, especially, young girls that I see who actually have some type of vision, talent, and just need some type of direction on what they want to do and, where they're looking to go. I just love to be that source of, light for them. So that's, the biggest thing on my radar is just being the best that I can be, and being the best to people, and, being the best in humanity, being the best human I can be.
Gotcha. And as far as in the entertainment world and you taking on different projects and things like that, either film or music or et cetera, what are some of the things that like you won't do or you won't touch, as far as like if somebody offered you a project to do X, were you like, nah, that's not really something I'm gonna do?
Yeah, I don't want to do anything that has to do with liquor. I'm not a drinker. I don't drink. I don't necessarily feel that, that for me personally, this is my own personal opinion, that is the best message out there. People abuse it, so I don't stuff like that. I won't do.
So we won't see TONISTEELZ up here fronting like a lot of people do. Like, get this liquor, but no liquor. You find out they don't even drink. But they sell it.
I drink cranberry juice with a splash of pineapple. It's right. Fire.
No, I wouldn't do that. Gotcha. And I've seen too many people, go down, with liquor. So it just.
Yeah, there's a history with that. There's a saying, they came to Africa with rifles and Bibles, but I also say liquor too.
Mm-hmm.
That liquor dope joke.
Yeah, they had to get the people on a different mind state in order to do what they needed to do to colonize and such. So that's.
I don't think anybody grew up said I'm going to be an alcoholic when I get older.
That's a whole nother thing.
You think it's going to happen?
That's a whole nother thing, right?
Yeah, that's a deeper story. So where can people find out more about TONISTEELZ, get in contact with you, and link up with what you got going on as far as like your shows and films you're going to be dropping and videos and music and all that kind of stuff?
I do my best to, stay on top of social media, but social media gets a bit too much sometimes. But I'm on social media, y'all. TONISTEELZ, TONISTEELZ. You can, DM me. You can message me, whatever it is. Just I'm on social media, so y'all can hit me there.
On business though, you got to stay on business though, Toni, because people will be DMing you like
stand on business, Toni.
Like yo, Toni, what's up? What's up, Toni? Like what you doing?
I stand on business.
Yeah, on business. You got a request. There's definitely a request. Button there. So you definitely have to request to send a message. So, just let's make it clean.
No problem.
No doubt. Listen, we appreciate you being on the program and taking some time out and joining us on the show, letting us know what you got going on, your story, and educating us on some things as well.
I appreciate you fellas having me. Thank you.
Not a problem. No. All right, we will get up with you again real soon, Toni.
Okay, have a good one, y'all. Thank you.
Yes. All right, peace.
Later. Shouts to Thermal Sound Radio.
All right. It's Thermal Sound Waves, a natural alternative to fast food radio. We hear C.Truth, Kev Lawrence.
Thermal Sound Wave.